Amy, and thank you very much for watching. So we have started the HTML, plain HTML portion of the full stack Solidity course. And so far, I actually used that live server thing, and it's pretty cool. Instead of it being localhost or just the file path, it's actually localhost. And that means that when we do save these changes, it'll automatically refresh, or hot reload, really. I have not paid the ad tax, so I will save that. Or we're taking the full stack Solidity course. We're almost 13 hours into this 32-hour course, and we are... This always confuses me. We're on lesson 8, and there's 18 lessons, so we're almost halfway through the course and then halfway through the lessons as well. So it's all downhill from here, hopefully. But yeah, I have not paid the ad tax. It didn't say it right away, and I didn't want to watch too much of this without being held accountable by you. So
method f request accounts, and we'll save that.
Does that need to be double quotes? Method
F request accounts.
So we did this. So if Ethereum here doing wallet things, inspect console, no wallet detected. Okay. Live reload, no wallet detected. And that is weird because I am connected to my MetaMask. So okay. Undefined. Let's look at code, readme in plain HTML. Undefined, no wallet detected. Okay. Why is this the case, though? There is definitely a MetaMask. Is window a... This still looks to be about alphabetical. Okay, so I do not see clear catching device, external. There's nothing like that here. Well, first of all, someday I will know how to spell. Okay. Then yeah, that was definitely it. Spelling it correctly. We don't want that on load, by the way. We want that on click. But hey, we have figured it out. I need to be able to spell. So we've got this going on. Oh my gosh, Amy, 13:41. 41 minutes left to this lesson. Can we do it tonight before 10 p.m.? Let's see.
And we'll save that. Now, if we go back to our browser, you'll actually see MetaMask go ahead and pop up and say, let's connect. So we can choose an account and we'll hit connect. We'll automatically connect our MetaMask to our website. And now if we look at our MetaMask, we can see this little connected thing. It's saying that our account 1 is now connected to our website. This means that the website can now make API calls to our MetaMask. We still have to be the ones to approve them, but it can go ahead and connect and try to run transactions, which is awesome, which is what we want. If you want to disconnect, we can go ahead and click that little button and hit disconnect this account. The way that we have our code currently is anytime we hit refresh, this is going to pop up, which is going to be really annoying. So what we're going to do instead is we're going to wrap this into an asynchronous function. The exact same as we've been doing. We'll create an async function called connect.
Just so you know, just beyond my monitor screen, my cat's tootsies are right there, hanging off her cat tree. Oh, she's so cute. Okay. Okay, well, I can't just say that and not, like, show her off. Oh, unless she's getting bothered by all this activity. Go back to bed, sweetheart. It's fine. Anyway, sorry about that. I touched her toes, and she's like, what are you doing? Okay.
We'll wrap it up in these curly braces here. And then we'll just format this.
Okay, so doing an async function connect. Which is the best way to do this. Wow, it's been a really long time since I have done be like, let is I shouldn't go too far ahead of him, but a plain HTML, yeah, with Vue it would just be like this, and we would just have like connect in the data. We could do like, if we're connected, we just get this element by ID, or get the class. Oh wow, forgetting plain HTML is amazing. Nobody uses it.
This a little bit to make it look nicer. And now, if we save, we go back to our website and we refresh, and we go ahead and disconnect. If we refresh, MetaMask won't keep asking us, hey, do you want to connect? Hey, do you want to connect? Hey, do you want to connect? Because we need to call.
Yeah, so I think it is going to be Vue 3 schools click. It's nice to know. Is it like on click lowercase? Okay. What I was gonna say is there's a JavaScript 30.com, and it's vanilla JavaScript, and it's free, and it's actually really good, and it helped me figure out like what was the magic of React versus like what is vanilla JavaScript. So it would basically just be like on click equals okay. So this is an async function, so we would just be like function call return. Because this is like it returns a promise, so That's weird. Okay. So sometimes, oh, like literally they have the parentheses here. Okay. I'm just batting 1,000 tonight with observation skills.
This connect function. The way we can do that is we can add a little button here. So right underneath our script tag, we're going to add a button tag. So this is the opening button tag, and then here's the closing button tag. And inside the opening button tag declaration, we'll give it an ID.
Why would you put a script tag in the middle of your body? That doesn't make any sense. That's not where it belongs. It makes it really, really unreadable. Very confusing. That's not proper HTML code. Just saying.
D, which will be connect button, and we'll say on click equals the connect function. And we'll call this button connect. In between these little button tags, we'll call it connect. We'll say when we click it, we'll call the connect function. So if we save and we go back to our front end, we can now see we have a little connect button. And now if we press connect, MetaMask is going to pop up. We'll hit next and connect like that. And boom, now we are connected. And we can even do a little await here so that we await for this to finish before moving on. And then after we connect, we can say console.
Okay, so one thing I did. I don't know what I'm doing. Okay. First of all, don't know what I'm doing, but we can just do directly connect wallet here, and then yes, we should do await because it's an asynchronous function. And it's parentheses. Redo this. Just do this. And hey, we've connected.
Console.log connected. So let's actually go ahead and test this out. We'll go back to MetaMask. We'll disconnect here. Try to never be on mainnet if we don't have to be. And let's go ahead and run connect. We'll hit next, connect. And now we see a little console.log come out saying connected. Okay, great. We can also update our website accordingly so that we can let users know that we're connected. So we can grab the connect button element ID and say that we're connected once we're connected. So after we await to be connected, we can go ahead and do document.get element by ID.
So I don't know if I mentioned this before. I don't really like how he does just do this as a div because it has natural things. So you display the bad address and then document dot get element by ID. Something like that. Unsure. Undefined. Wow.
Connect button. And then we'll say dot inner HTML equals connected. That. And then instead of saying no MetaMask down here, we'll do just the opposite. So we'll copy this line. And instead of connected, we'll say, please install MetaMask. And we'll save. We'll go back to our front end. We'll hit connect. And now, if we're already connected, it'll just automatically go to connected. If we're not connected, it'll pop up. We'll get connected. And now we have this button that says connected, which is great. So now we already know that we're connected.
Oh, you know what? That's a good point. Instead of making it a separate div, we'll just be like button connect. There's like a string dot to uppercase that we could have done, but hey.
So we've connected our MetaMask to our front end. Now we want to actually go ahead and do some functions here. And this is where we want to create some more functions and some more buttons that are going to use ethers, that package that we've become so familiar with. Now, as we code, our script section is going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. So oftentimes we actually want to put...
And he put the script section in the middle of the body, which makes it unreadable anyway. The script section could get quite big. If it's underneath here, nobody would notice because it's at the bottom. But I do understand what he's talking about. Plain 888.
Put our code in a JavaScript file itself. So we're going to go ahead, come over here, we're going to create a new file, and we'll call it index.js. And instead of putting our JavaScript in these script tags, we're going to put it in this index and then import this index file into our HTML. And the way that we're going to do that is we're actually just going to grab this function, we're going to copy it, delete everything for now. We're going to paste it into our index.js. And then in our index.html, we're just going to tell our script tag to use index.js.
Okay, command X. Put this function here. I'm not sure if you need to do like an export, but script, I think you do it with like source equals I think you could do it as like a self-closing script. Nope, not the one I was looking for. Okay, not
JS. So we're just going to say the source is going to be equal to ./index.js. Then we're going to say the type of this is going to be text/JavaScript.
okay. Does that help? Is it not supposed to be self-enclosed? Okay, not self-closing.
Now, if we save that and we save our index.html, we come back to our front end, we do a little refresh, and we make sure that we go ahead and disconnect. We do another refresh. We can see that even with our index.js in a different file, because we're doing src equals index.js and we're importing it into our HTML, When we hit connect, it still calls our connect function. That's how we can kind of separate our JavaScript into its own JS file that we're a little bit more familiar with. Now, if you look in the GitHub repo associated with this course, and you look in the index.js, you'll see our connect function, we've added some quality of life stuff. We've added some try catches just to make handling errors a little bit better. You can go ahead and add those try catches in yourself if you like, but I'm not going to demo them in this video here.
Wow. It's already 32 hours long. You couldn't have done that? Wow. But we're going to go through that because... Really? Really? Okay, okay. Yes, I did make that annoying sound on camera. Okay. So let's look at these try catches that he doesn't want us to go through. So, if type of Ethereum is not undefined, we're going to try we're in a cat. Okay. That's really just not that bad. That could have been gone over. It's fine, we'll leave that up, so. That makes sense, by the way, if you saw what I was upping about. Basically, you just do, like, const. Making sure that this still works. Okay. Not subscribe to this. It's fine. It's not confusing. Except for some styling choices. Just keep going, just keep going.
Now we want to create our fund function, and then later on we're going to create our withdraw function. And this is where front-end JavaScript code and Node.js are a little bit different. In Node.js, we've been using this require keyword to import dependencies. In front-end JavaScript, you can't use require, and it won't exactly work. Now, later on, we're going to use the import keyword, which is really the better way to do this. And this is where our first difference is going to be. Using the import keyword for front end is much better than the require keyword, especially since the require keyword doesn't actually work. And for those of you who might struggle with this disconnect and this change, once again, in the GitHub repo associated with this, we do have a Node.js edition of this where you can use the require keyword. You just have to go through the README and download some packages and run some scripts that basically transform your code that uses require into code that works with imports. But we're going to teach you the way to work with your front-end code here using imports. Now, you'll see when we get to Next.js that we will still download code from Node modules and using a yarn.lock and a package.json, etc. So, summary, in future sections, we are still going to do yarn add, But outside of a framework, when we're using this raw JavaScript, this raw HTML setup, like what we're working with here, we're not going to be doing yarn add node modules. We'll add node modules for a framework like Next and React, but for raw JavaScript, we'll be using a different syntax, which I'll show you soon. So let's go ahead and start building our fund function here. To make our fund function, what would we normally do? Well, we'd create an async function called fund. And in this function, we probably would want to take some ETH amount as a parameter, because
we're not doing a contract, so we're calling fund, right?
we're going to want to fund it with some amount of Ethereum. When we call this function, we might want to run console.log. We'll do a little string interpolation here. Funding with ETH amount.
I'm doing air kisses to my cat, just making cute faces at me as well. And my other cat has decided that she does not want to be on my lap. Make way! Sweetheart, come here. See? It's not that bad. You can do it. I believe in you. I think both of my cats might decide that they want to be on my lap now. Please stop hopping over my lap. Oh no. She's decided that the blankie next to me is more comfortable than I am. Very sad. Okay.
These semicolons are going to drive me absolutely insane. So I'm going to add our .prettier.rrc file into this. And I'm going to go ahead and add prettier in here. Otherwise, I'm going to lose my mind. So we're going to do yarn add -dev prettier, just so we can format our JavaScript with prettier. Come back to index.js. I'm going to hit Command S, and it looks like it does indeed auto format with prettier now. Yay! No more semicolons. We can call this fund function the same way we call connect. So in our index.html, maybe we'll create a new button. We'll give it an ID of fund. We'll say on.
Oh, you know what? It's not like above my pay grade, but shouldn't it be like input text? And then do button go. Fund me ID, and then on click equals Do we need, I don't think we need to convert that to not string, so. Does that make sense to you? So this, I can change this. And I go fund and it's the right amount. So whatever he's trying to make us do here, don't listen.
Click equals fund, and we'll say fund, and this will be our button here. We save it, we look at our front end, we now have a fund button that if we call, we say funding with undefined because we're not passing it an amount here. So back in our index, console.log funding with, and we'll just want to make sure that we can actually call that fund me function. So we'll copy this line again, and we'll say if type of window.ethereum does not equal undefined, we'll go ahead and try to fund here. To send a transaction, what are the things that we absolutely 100% always need? Well, we need a provider / connection to the blockchain, and we need a signer / wallet / someone with some gas to actually send it. And then we're probably going to need the contract that we are interacting with. And to get that contract, we're going to need its ABI and address. And with these all together, we can send any transaction. So to get our provider, we're going to actually go ahead and work with ethers again. Now, we're going to do it a little bit differently, though. Before, the way we worked with ethers is we said const ethers equals require ethers, right? And this is how we pulled ethers in. Now, like I just said to you, though, require doesn't work in the front end. And we actually don't want to install ethers with a node modules package. So what we can actually do instead, let's go to the ethers documentation. And if you go to the getting started,
Yeah, so we can just copy this script. It's been a while since I've used a CDN. I always just use Vue.js because I can. It's what I am, it's what I know. It's interesting though. That is...
section, scroll down, they have a section about importing using Node.js, which uses require or imports. And then they also have some documentation for working with the web browser. So instead of us doing a node module, what we'll do is we'll copy the ethers library to our own directories and serve it ourselves. So what we do is we can come in here, we can copy this massive file, which is ethers, but in front end edition, and come back to our file, and we'll make a new file in here called ethers. We'll do 5.6.esm.min.js, and we'll paste that massive thing in here. Now, since I have Prettier, when I save it, it's going to auto-format, and it's just this huge file, which has everything in ethers, but front-endified, if you will. Now, what we can do is we can import this into our index.js. So instead of using require, in here, we'll say import ethers from, and then we'll just refer to that file that we just got. ethers-5.6.esm.min.js. Now, we only need to do this weird copy pasting of the file import thing in this HTML JavaScript lesson. In future lessons with Node.js, are going to do yarn add ethers, kind of like we've normally seen. The frameworks like React and Next.js that we're going to use are going to automatically convert those yarn added packages to their front-endified versions. But for this section, this is how we're going to actually import the ethers package. Now, the other thing we'll have to do is on our front end, we'll have to change this from type text/JavaScript to type module. Changing this to type module allows us to import modules into our code, which we're going to be importing this, and we're going to import another module as well. Awesome.
What? No, this isn't awesome. What the hell? No, Why would you do this? This is awful. What the hell? No. So you're saying I should do this. Okay, so the only reason you would do this is when you have an application, it's much safer to like keep the version consistent. But so this needs to be type module. And we're going to go to the index.js and import others from connect wallet is not defined. So script index.js module import ethers plural. Yeah.
The other thing we'll have to do is on our front end, we'll have to change this from type text/JavaScript to type module. Changing this to type module allows us to import modules into our code, which we're going to be importing this, and we're going to import another module as well. Awesome. And now though, if we go back to our front end, do a little refresh, hit the connect button, we'll get connect is not defined at HTML button.onClick. So instead of calling our connect button from the front end here, we're going to remove these onClicks from our index.html and go into our index.js and add those connect buttons in here. So we'll say const
Okay, so it just doesn't work like that anymore. It's good to know. Rid of that export in case it wasn't necessary. I feel like we need to add like event listeners or something like that.
connect button equals document.getElement by ID connect button. And then we'll say const fund button equals document.get element by ID fund button. The ID of the connect button is connect button. The ID of the fund button is fund button. And then we'll say connect button.onClick equals connect and
no parentheses. Did this help? There's something wrong with my min file.
fund button dot on click equals fund. We go back to our front end, do a little refresh, we'll hit connect now, and it's
Okay. Well, it's a UMD. Maybe we can go back to the We'll just do it like this, because even this makes more sense than whatever the heck they were doing. Okay. I think I didn't like it because of cross origin. I think this is why we did it local. That's dumb. So What are we doing? What am I doing?
Button equals document dot get element by ID. Fun button. The ID of the connect button is connect button. The ID of the fun button is fun button. And then we'll say connect button dot on click equals connect, and fund button dot on click equals fund. We go back to our front end, do a little refresh. We'll hit connect now, and it's actually working. We'll go to our MetaMask. We'll disconnect. We'll refresh, hit connect, and boom, it's popping up again. This is just due to that type being module. If it was text/JavaScript, that on-click button adding in here, but since we're doing module, we're going to add those on-clicks right in our JavaScript. But now that we've got ethers in here, what we can do is we can even do like a little console.log, just paste ethers in here, or actually better yet, we'll add it right above the connect button, go back to our front end, we'll do a refresh, and we see the entire ethers object right in our front end, which is perfect, which is exactly what we want here. And since we've got these two variables here, we might as well update this to just say connect button.innerHTML equals connected, and here as well, connect button.innerHTML equals please install MetaMask. Because now connect button is going to be the same as running this document.getElement by ID right here. And great, let's go back to continuing our fun function. So we'll say const provider equals new ethers.providers.web3.
Okay, so just trying to make it so that it's both big, I can see it, and I can literally just copy what he said. Okay, so call fund. Const provider equals new ethers dot providers dot Web3 provider.
Provider, window.ethereum. Web3 provider is an object in Ethers that allows us to basically wrap around stuff like MetaMask. This Web3 provider is really similar to that JSON RPC provider, which we used before, which is where we put in exactly that endpoint, our Alchemy endpoint, or when working with MetaMask here, whatever endpoint that we have in our network section. This Web3 provider takes that HTTP endpoint and automatically sticks it in Ethers for us. So this line of code basically looks at our MetaMask and goes, okay, I found the HTTP endpoint inside their MetaMask. That's going to be what we're going to use as our provider here. Since our provider is connected to our MetaMask here, we can get a signer or we can get a wallet just by running const signer.
So you want a provider, a signer, and a contract with an ABI and a address. Const signer equals ethers.
Equals provider dot get signer. This is going to
It's a function.
return whichever wallet is connected from the provider, which again, our provider is our MetaMask. So if we're connected with account 1, it's going to return account 1 as the signer. Connected with account 2, it'll return account 2, etc. Now I'm going to add console.log signer here and then flip to the front end now and show you what happens when
Okay. The first thing I'm going to do is log out. Oh, what are you doing, Amy? What you doing? Okay. Connected sites. So connect it to test as a funder. Connect. Do one. Do JSON RPC signer. My address is null. That's amazing.
We hit the fund button. You can see in here, we have our JSON RPC signer. This signer is going to be the account that we've connected to our front end. Now we have our provider, we have our signer. Now we're going to need our contract by getting the ABI and the address. So we're going to need to say const contract.
Okay.
Equals what? How are we going to get our contract? Well, this is where we're going to need to know the ABI and the address of what we're working with. Typically, what you'll see a lot of projects do, since once a contract is deployed, the address isn't going to change, is they're going to have some type of constants file. So they'll create a new file called constants.js. And in here, they'll add the addresses and any ABI. And anything like that for us to use in our fund piece here. Now, as we're developing and as we're building this, the backend and the front end team are going to have to interact a little bit. Or if it's just you doing the full stack, you're going to have to interact with your backend. So this is why it's so important to have both your front end and your backend code nearby. So if we go back to our Hardhat Fund Me project that we just made, we can find the ABI in here. Once again, if we go to artifacts, we go to contracts, we can go to fundme.sol, fundme.json, we can find the ABI right here. It's going to be this map.
Artifacts.
Massive thing right here. So you can go ahead, you can even copy this whole thing in this little non-squiggly bracket, this little bracket here. We can copy that, and then we can come back to our constant.js, and we can just save it as a variable. We'll say export const ABI. equals, and paste that in there. And then back in our index.js, we can import it with import ABI from constants. Oops.
I was wondering if we need the constants.js or is constants the same? We do need .js. I was right before.
Okay, great. So we have the ABI. Well, what about the address? Since we're going to be running this locally, we want to get the contract address of this locally run contract. We can do that a couple of ways. One way is you can just have two windows open, one with your front end code, one with your back end code. And the one with your back end code, you can run yarn hardhat node, which will spin up our blockchain node for us and give us the address in here. Or what we can do, and this will probably be a little bit easier, is in your window with your front end code, we can create a new terminal, and now we'll have two terminals running. And in this second one, we're going to CD down, CD ... and then CD hardhat fund me free code camp. And in here, we're going to run yarn hardhat node, and this is going to spin up.
Okay. So either way, we have to do okay.
Our local blockchain in this second terminal in here, where we have deploying fund me, deployed at address, blah, 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 right here. And just a reminder, if I hit this X, it just hides the terminal. I can always pull it back up.
Did I do the deployed at correctly?
With terminal, new terminal, and I can always hide it, but this is still running inside of my terminal. So I'm going to hide it. And what I can do is I can come back over to our constants folder, and at the top, we can do export const contract address equals, we'll pull the terminal back up, and we'll go grab where it says deploying fund me deployed at right here. We'll copy that address, we'll put some quotes, and we'll paste it in. And now we're also exporting the contract address. And then in our index.js, we'll import the contract address with comma, contract address. And now we have both the ABI and the contract address. So what we can do, we can say const contract equals new ethers.contract.
Um, okay, I think that's enough for tonight. We made it 13 hours, 13 minutes, and 33 seconds into this course. We are on day, I think it actually says 152 days ago. And I haven't done this for 152 straight days, but pretty close. Anyway, I will talk to you later. I'm getting tired, and yeah, bye.